Hi there, I'm James Osborne, the co-founder of the Recruitment Network, and this is the TRN Podcast. Every week, we unpack the strategies, the technologies, the processes and mindsets fueling today's top-performing recruitment agencies. We take a look behind the scenes of some great recruitment businesses. We listen to the real-life stories of those who have built those businesses, and we learn from some of the industry's greatest thought leaders to help you become both future fit and future relevant. So let's begin with this next episode of the TRM podcast. Right, I think we'll get cracking now. We've just got a minute past. That's about my sort of time frame to get going. So, as always, lovely to see you. As I said, hope you are well and hope you are good. For those of you who haven't met before, I'm James Osborne. I'm a non-exec director and advisor to the recruitment sector and co-founder and chairman of the Recruitment Network. And I run these sessions pretty much every day or every couple of days on different subjects, opportunity for just to share some ideas, some thinking about what's going on in the market, some things to think about, hopefully some useful stuff that you can take away and go and implement within your business later on. We're going to talk about streamlining your operational systems. Again, this is obviously pertinent whether you're a one-person business or whether you are a 100-person business. The principles are exactly the same. As we go through today, if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, by the way. I should have mentioned that. But yeah, the principles of today work for any business, depending on whatever size you are, etc. It's all about how do we squeeze more profitability, more productivity out of what we've already got, and on the same time, how do we reclaim some of the lost time and some of the lost revenue that people are leaving on the table. That we've got whole loads of content and courses that we're running around this type of stuff. So things like losing lost revenue, things like Operation Goldmine, if any of you are familiar with that, happy to share that with you. One of the best ways of basically pulling in revenue that's probably sitting right in front of you that you're getting currently, and some of the AI workshops and the AI stuff that we're doing at the moment about how to get more time back in the business as well. We'll sort of talk about that, but there's a whole session and there's a whole program around that you're more than welcome to attend as well. But I'm going to share some ideas that hopefully will get you thinking about it. For those of you not familiar with TRN, just very quickly, we are a large global recruitment community. With advisors and recruitment leaders all over the world. Our objective is pretty simple. We work with our members to help them improve performance, productivity, and profitability, which obviously today is a big part of that. Those of you who aren't members of TRN, obviously great to see you today. If you want to get involved and us to sort of really work with you and help you build your business strategy for 2026, then come and join us, Solo Plus or Club membership, and we'd love to welcome you on board. I have to say, and I said this to a lot of people at the moment, I do think 2026 we're going to see the birth of the super agents. So these are small recruitment organizations that are significantly more profitable than they've ever been, and significantly more profitable than the rest of the marketplace, because they're doing things quite differently in their approach. The core fundamentals are the same, but the approach is very different. So really looking forward to working with TRM members and seeing how many super agencies we can build in 2026 together. So if you look at most recruitment companies, or let's go many recruitment companies, they are unnecessarily leaking profit out of their business because their operating model, I don't think, has really kept pace with how the market is changing and evolving. We say that in the same thing in our business development and training as well. So if you look at how BD has changed, how customers buy today is different from how they were buying 20, 30 years ago, because they're far more informed, they've got more access to different channels, etc. How much has your BD strategy changed and adapted according to that? In most cases, I find it's a bit archaic. So we've got to keep pace with the market, what the market's doing, to make sure that all the stuff we're doing, our sales approaches, our marketing approach, our operating models are fit for purpose and future relevant. It's such an important expression that we're using at the moment, this future fit, future relevant, because I think businesses aren't necessarily that case. And if you look at the market, and you can read as much data as you want about the market and all the stuff that Trump's up to at the moment and everything else, who knows what's going to happen with the marketplace. But even if the market, the pie is the same size, or even in some cases it's smaller, if the market shrunk a little bit, you can still take a bigger slice of that market, of that pie, than you've had today. That's the whole point of this. So I can't control the markets, but I can definitely control what we're doing to those markets and within those markets. So whilst we're trying to find better way, hopefully the markets are going to get better, we're seeing a little bit more of that. Your job is to basically, how do you transact in with whatever market situation we've got? How do you win more business? How do you win better business? And how do you increase your profitability and productivity as a business? Because if you do that anyway, irrespective of what's happening in the markets, you will make more money than you were yesterday. You will be a better business. So the Winning More Business is our Velocity BD program I just mentioned, and the Pinnacle program is all about how you win better business. Today, we're going to focus on increasing profitability and squeezing more out of what you've already got from your business. And I've used this a couple of times. I'm just going to show you a couple of slides that you may have seen before, but the reality is the pound of revenue that we generate today is worth a lot less to us as a business owners than it was 10 years ago. And that's just not right. I just don't think. If you think about the gap between revenue and profit, it's being squeezed all the time. There's more cost. It costs more money to bring in customers, to bring in candidates, to run our businesses, to manage our people, etc. Every day running a recruitment company becomes more and more expensive. And therefore the profit we're making is getting less and less and less. That's a big, big issue, but great, you can actually solve it. You can fix it, but you just can't accept it. That's the I think a lot of recruitment companies accepted the fact it's just getting harder to create more profit out of the same amount of revenue that you're creating before. So we have this productivity illusion where we track activity, calls made, CV sent, all that type of stuff, and we can see how busy we are as a business, and we can see how busy we are as with our recruiters. But busy doesn't necessarily mean effective, and effective doesn't always mean profitable. And there's a big, big gap between the three. So just having lots of data and screens and numbers up on your boards, etc., talking about how busy you are, doesn't necessarily equate to how profitable and productive you're going to be. And that's something you've got to fix. So you've got to change that and change your thinking on that. Staff costs have risen since COVID, we know that, and there's still ridiculous amounts of basic salaries being pumped around all over the bloody place. Consultant productivity definitely varies widely across different recruiters. Delivery models are still heavily reliant on one or two individuals. And I think too much effort has to go in to some real low return activity. So if we can turn that around, then we're in a really, really good place. And as one of our members quite rightly said, we've got consultants who are absolutely smashing their KPIs at the moment. So fair play to them, but they're just not hitting their margin targets. That's the wake up call here. And that's something you all need to think about, again, whether you're a solo operator or whether you've got 100 people within your business. We talk a lot about productivity per head, productivity per consultant, or payout rates, or net contribution. I measure this every board I sit on, and we look at not the revenue league tables, who are the best billers, but we look at who are the most profitable people within the business, and etc. And we produce this league table based on profitability, looking for a payout rate below 30%. You, your people, everyone within your business. Again, all of you should be measuring this type of thing rather than looking at profit, rather than looking at sales. You should be measuring people on performance, on their productivity and profitability. I've got a really nice calculator on this. If any of you want a copy of it, just give me a yes, and I'll ping it across to you afterwards. And you can actually see exactly the profitability and productivity per recruiter within your business rather than just revenue or GP, because revenue and GP actually means bugger all if bugger all is coming out the bottom of it. Fairly obvious thing to say. Okay, cool. So the question is, how do we significantly impact productivity, net contribution, and then reduce those payout rates of our consultants, and in fact everyone in our business in 2026? Because if you just do that, irrespective of the markets, you're going to make more money, you're going to be more profitable than you were last year. Brilliant. So that's simple. We get that. And then think about all the other things that you could potentially change and influence to drive up productivity within your business across your operating models. And I showed this in our AI program, because these are some examples of all the elements of your business that you can now use AI or use anything to do to tweak and improve. That if you improve all of these things by 1%, 2%, 3% over the course of the next 90 days, it will have a significant impact to your bottom line profitability. Fairly obvious. So some it's like quite random stuff like objection handling effectiveness and your website load speed, random, but quite an important thing to think about. Something more important like your pipeline deal velocity or your sales conversion rates, etc., or your average deal size for that matter as well. So I want you to start thinking about your business in metrics, and our job is to basically improve productivity and performance by improving those metrics 1%, 2%, 3% on a continuous basis. AI can help you with that. I'm not going to go heavy on AI today because we're going to talk about AI in some of the AI sessions that we run. But you do need to ask yourself, what are you going to automate? What are you going to keep human? Because when you're thinking about this continuous improvement of actually, if I can just find in all of those 5-second, 5-minute, 5-hour tasks that I or my team do every single day within my business, and I can automate some of those using AI, then I'm saving them huge amounts of time, which means I'm giving my team more time back to go and do the stuff that creates more profitability and revenue and productivity, including yourself as a business leader as well. If you need help with that, we've got the Project Automate program that we're running. It's absolutely bloody brilliant. It just works, and it's highly, highly effective. So highly recommend getting involved with that if you're not already doing it. If you really want to get on top of your AI strategy and then how to build agents and roll it out as well, it just works. Because the whole point of AI, it's not about speed and all that type of stuff, as how most people think it is. It's actually about space. It just means it frees you up to do more of your best work. Your recruiters have more time to do the best work. And this is a graphic I've been showing, God knows, for the last 18 months now, which is pretty much how we're flipping recruitment. In recruitment, a recruiter, this is what most recruiters do. They spend 80% of their day-to-day work on the left-hand side doing all this administrative side of recruitment, leaving only about 20% of their time left to do the stuff that actually makes money in recruitment. What do we need to be doing in this whole process? If you're not doing this now, then you've missed the whole point of 2024, 2025, which is how do we flip our businesses from being transactional recruiters into more transformational recruiters, where we're using AI and productivity improvements on the left-hand side to mean our recruiters are now spending 80% of their time doing the stuff that's really important in front of customers, winning business, sales, humanizing recruitment, all the good stuff that makes a difference. You as well as a leader, where are you spending all your time? 80% of it in admin. Seriously, get 80% out there driving your business forward, driving winning business, supporting your recruiters is far better way of spending your money and your time. So AI will help with that, obviously, and it will significantly improve that. But today's not about AI. It's about just getting you thinking about productivity improvements as much as you possibly can. I just thought I'd share this with you because this is from one of the members who did this lovely case study for us, or a lovely testimonial for us the other day. A guy called Simon Tops, who runs Addition Solutions, great business. And he's been a member now for about 8 months, which is great. We've had a significant impact on his business, and well, TRN has, which has been wonderful. And it's really, really working for him. But the piece I wanted to highlight in his lovely testimonial that you see on the screen here is that actually the productivity analysis stuff that he's done as part of his onboarding and his process that actually came from coming to one of the member events that we were running had a massive implications on his business. It's been hugely beneficial. So this is what I'm going to sort of talk a little bit about today, is what he went through and some of the other things that you can go through in order to drive up productivity within your business. And this is about understanding your business. Where are you actually making money? Do you really understand that? And where are you actually losing money? It's a really important question to answer, and most people don't really know the answer. We sort of think we do, but we don't really know the answer. And this is what exactly this is about, is where do we really make money and where do we lose money in the recruitment business? I wanted to share this with you. I came off a call this yesterday with one of the members, a business called Rhombic, absolutely brilliant business, doing some really cool stuff. And they've just completed this full operational audit of their business. This is a small recruitment company, so don't think this is something you have to do if you're a 100-person recruitment company. This is a small recruitment company that's now completed a full operational audit. I went through it with them yesterday. It's been absolutely brilliant. We went through the whole report, and it basically pulls apart exactly in their business what's working, what's not working, where the gaps are, where the opportunities are, and how they can do differently. There's a huge presentation that we went through. It's about 100 pages long, the presentation, so it's pretty impressive sort of stuff, with a big summary at the end. And what they've identified in summary, is by eliminating some of the stuff that they're doing from a manual admin point of view, by centralizing some of the data, by using automation and realigning what the consultants are doing day to day, we believe, and we can measure this, that we can get a 40% increase in growth with what we've currently got with the current team alone. That's before we add in more headcount to that business, etc. So we're now working with them to roll this out across the business. We built a project plan that you can see with that can help them roll this out. And this is exactly how you should be thinking. You should be doing the similar audit on your business, coming up with a similar plan as well, and then driving this forward. Now, we can help you with this. We've got whole toolkits that can help you with this. The first one I'm going to talk about is the waste elimination checklist. We built this years ago, still really bloody effective. And I can't help thinking now more than ever, it's really more pertinent, which is about how do we remove everything within your business where there is wastage in essence. And what we've done is we've mapped out on the waste elimination checklist all the areas of a recruitment company where there are current areas of wastage. It could be time, it could be money, it could be process, it could be absolutely everything. So we've given you sort of the guide on how to be able to do that. You go through the checklist and you tick off where it's applicable for you. And then we've got a second process, which is our problem to solution reference guide, which is basically then what do you do about it? So there's the process. Here's the waste elimination checklist, which we can send through to you. You go through it, you answer the questions. It'll take you about 10 minutes to do it. And on the back of that, you know exactly where the gaps are within your business. On the back of that, you then go to the problem solution guide, and then you come up with your plans of what you're going to do to fix it. You can do all of this in the next 10 days. In the next 10 days, I think you can eliminate so much wastage within your business. Once you've eliminated the wastage, you plug the holes, you can then build on top of that and go win more business, because you know it's going to be more profitable business as you do that. So again, as always, if you're interested in the waste elimination stuff, give me a yes or whatever it is in the chat. One of my team's on the chat, by the way, so they're writing all this down so we know who's asking for it. And we'll ping this across to you so you've got it. Nothing complicated about it. It's like a bloody spring clean if you want, but just do it, because ultimately we know where the gaps are within your business without even knowing your business, because we've done this time and time again.
which is important. Think about your business strategy and your business structure, depending on whatever size you are as a company. Have you restructured or structured your business for relevance now? Again, there's a different operating model, as you know, in a recruitment company. So the traditional one of just bringing in lots and lots of heads is not applicable anymore. We've now got this blended operating model within our business. Again, if you're a solo operator, a 10-person business or a 100-person business, the principle's the same. You've got people in your company who are client-facing, the humans, your recruiters. You've got AI agents sitting in there now that you actually define and map out, doing a particular job. You've got offshoring happening or remote support happening to allow you to optimize some of that efficiency and cost. And then you've got these shared systems and data flows that bring the whole thing together. As one of our advisors quite rightly said at the huddle, at the retreat, if you're designing your business around just bringing in consultants alone, I think you're building for the past, and I think you've missed the whole bloody point of what's happening across the industry. So this is a really exciting time at the moment. So look at your business and again, imagine what your org chart should look like in 2026 based on your people onshore and offshore and AI and worker bots sitting within that as well. And again, some of you would have seen me show this before, where this is what an org chart of a recruitment company should look like moving forward, where you've got your people in the UK or in the marketplace or geographical location, wherever you're based, in red and blue. You've got the green, which are your offshoring team, where you're going to offshore that maybe into South Africa or into India or into Latin America, depending on where your markets are. And again, we've got some great partners who can work with you on that. And then you've got your AI agent sitting underneath that. These are actual physical people almost that you define. I've got a PSL agent whose job is to find me PSLs every day. And when we get on the PSL, that actually helps me write the PSL a proposal. I've got one who's tracking all the job boards for me. I've got one who's mapping out the market for me. I've got one who's generating leads for me. These are almost like agents that you're building, like physical people. Again, immediately it just changes your thinking about how you grow a recruitment company outside of just adding in headcount all the time. Within the people that you are going to keep, your humans, you need to make sure then that everyone within your business are playing to their superpowers. It's so important. I often look at recruiters and just ask that question. I ask leaders as well the question, actually, are you really doing what you should be doing, where you add the most value to the business? Or actually, are you doing a whole bunch of stuff which is a complete bloody waste of time? The latter often comes out. That's not just for recruiters, that's also for the leadership as well. I've just finished this with one of the members last week, which is their leadership alignment report, where we've looked at the senior people within the business, the owners, the directors, the board, and the managers. And we're going basically, let's now segment what it is that you do on a day-to-day basis. Make sure that you're all playing to your strengths. We're going to remove stuff from your day-to-day job. We're going to give you performance metrics and KPIs so you know exactly what you need to be doing. And then suddenly these leaders within the business have been freed up by 50-60%, and they're doing a hell of a lot more of the stuff that they love to do, and then they're really, really good at that, adds the most value to the business. So there's an example of that. Again, I'm happy to share a copy of that with you. This is for a particular company, but I can anonymize it if any of you are interested. But one of the things that we do with members is basically, first thing, before I'm going to work with you as a member and advise your business, I need to make sure that everyone in your business are playing to their strength, their superpowers. That is such an important part of this. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to grow your business properly. Classic example where you've got recruitment leaders who are doing a job that you'd pay someone, 700 quid a month offshore to do for you, but you're doing it yourself. And actually, you should be really out there winning business and winning contracts and clients and all that type of stuff. So it's something to think about a little bit around that piece, around playing to your superpowers. And then that same thing translates and trickles down to your recruiters as well. In fact, everyone else within your business as well. And to explain this, I'm just going to do a quick case study. This is from one of our members, James Walker, who's part of the BWD group. And he's very happy to share this because actually he shared this with lots of the members and stuff, and it's on our platform, so I can send you a bit more information about it. But what happened basically was James came to one of our sessions that we ran, and he realized that he was actually trying to solve a bunch of problems that didn't really exist. What he wanted, instead of just assuming what he thought was happening in his business, he wanted a bit more clarity. And the question that we really wanted to ask is, what are his recruiters, his people within his business, actually doing on a day-to-day basis with his time? So what we ended up rolling out across his business was this time audit, not a visibility, not trying to judge you as a recruiter, but just so we have visibility of what it is that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Not complicated, but incredibly effective off the back of it. We had to get transparent. We had to get the buy-in from the team. So we're really transparent on why we're doing this and what it is that we were doing, because we wanted to see exactly, or basically we wanted to log a week's worth of activity into a spreadsheet so we can get a clear view of what everyone in the business was doing on a day-to-day basis over the course of that particular week. But we're doing it so it's about improving them and helping them make more money, as opposed to judging them or finger pointing or micromanaging them, etc., etc. On the back of that, we pulled all the data. We then use an AI agent to go into that to then analyze that data. And then on the back of that, we came out with some strategies of what we're going to do to improve performance. As an example, something simple, for example, James himself was spending 30 to 35% of his week in internal meetings that weren't really moving the business forward. So immediately we stopped those straight away. 30% of your week. Now to give them back to him, what are you going to do with that? Well, I'm going to go and hang out with my top 10% customers and go and lock them in on some retained contracts for the next 12 months. Okay, well, that's quite useful. You get the idea. So the whole point of this is just allows you to understand it. This was the prompt for the AI agent that was built. James has produced a document for this, which I can share with you in a second, by the way. So this will actually help you understand the audit results. So you get the audit, you pump it into the AI agent. The AI agent then will then analyze that and do the work for you. That's the great thing about AI today. You can do that heavy lifting piece for you. And then on the back of that, a load of actions come off the back of it. What are we going to do differently as a business? So changing management meetings, doing different training in different areas, different data cleanse, so it goes on, so it goes on, so it goes on. Some of these are real quick wins, simple things to do, but now he really, really understands his business. He understands where profitability, productivity and profitability and performance comes from within his business as much as anything else. As you can see on the screen here, now James really wished he did this sooner because it makes a huge, huge difference to his business. And it's not about squeezing seconds from consultants. It's about identifying where the real barriers are to productivity and then doing something about it. Now, James has created this, very kindly created this really nice document called the Time Audit Toolkit. Again, if you want a copy of it, we'll ping it across to you. It's not a problem. It's on the TRM Well platform. And you'll see it on there, sort of stuff. But he basically, as a member, this is what we do all the time. We share these type of stuff across the other members. And here's the exact process that he sort of followed. So if you're interested in that, just let us know. You'll find, we'll send it out, a link to you as well. So this is some things to think about. So this then leads into this whole thing about profit leaks and plugs. So what we spend a lot of our life doing is analyzing across the TRN community, what are 1,000, 1,500 recruitment businesses doing differently to prevent loss of margin, to plug the gaps of productivity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is not about whether your business is leaking profit or not. It is, we know that. And the question is, how quickly can you fix it? And the really good recruitment companies are ones who are continuously fixing leaky holes within their business. So as they're adding more stuff to the top of it, i.e. revenue, that revenue is converting into profitability. So there's lots of things you can think about here. I'm just going to show you very quickly. I'm going to run through this super quick because I'm going to share these slides with you afterwards. 10 very quick examples that come out of some of the things that our members are sharing about. These are no fluff examples of really practical, simple fixes to plug some of your productivity gaps. So where's the leak? If I describe how it works, where's the leak? Consultants doing operational work that they shouldn't be doing. So too many high fee earners bogged down with low value tasks, formatting CVs, updating CRMs, chasing compliance, etc., which is draining productivity, it's draining focus, it's actually keeping them off their tools. So what do we do about that? We push the non-fee generating tasks to AI workflows or offshore support teams. Bunch of questions to ask, etc., etc. So are consultants spending more than 20% of their time on admin? Are we automating anything that's repeatable? Is our CRM data entry still largely manual, etc., etc., etc.? So you get the idea. So each of these plugs, each of these leaks, I should say, we've got strategies and processes and tools to better plug each of these different leaks. So consultants doing operational work, bloated delivery on low margin clients, a really, really big factor that drives or whittles away profitability within your business. Overlapping internal roles, as I said, so people not playing directly to their strengths and they're crossing each other's channels. Underutilized tech stack is a huge one. My philosophy with technology is really simple. You should be spending less money on technology at the moment and getting significantly more out of your tech stack. And we've got some really cool tech audit stuff we can help you with that on that to really make sure you're getting return on investment from your technology stack. It's getting more and more expensive every single bloody day. And I want to make sure you're getting more and more ROI out of it. Inefficient offshoring or none at all. So to me, it's almost a norm now that you should be offshoring some parts of your business. Again, if you're a solo recruiter, it's brilliant because you can basically behave and act like a team of 10 people, even though you're only one person as a business, which is really exciting. Reactive hiring into outdated roles, margin disappearing in your delivery process, strategies stuck in the boardroom and not really being implemented from a KPI point of view to the business. AI adopted without a proper strategy behind it, cultural misalignment, so it goes on, so it goes on. So there's a whole bunch of things, and I'll share these with you afterwards. And we're slowly building up this really nice portfolio of these are the leaks, these are the gaps, these are the things to do about it quickly, quick fix wins and that type of stuff. So today was really about getting you thinking about if we can just squeeze more profitability out of our business, if we can reduce that leakage at the bottom of our business, you can basically work in the same market, irrespective of what's happening in that market, but you can take a bigger slice. And that's the key. The really good recruitment companies last year are in the same markets as you. They're just nicking your market share. They're just more profitable, more effective. So think about how you're winning more business. And we'll help you with that with all the velocity stuff we're doing. Think about, are you winning better business, better quality business with better quality customers, which is the whole point of Pinnacle. And then think about how you're increasing profitability, your engine. Is it more effective, more profitable than it was yesterday? So that's redesigning the structure, using AI, use Project Automate, using your waste elimination checklist, the leadership alignment stuff, operational audit, time audit tracker, leaks and plugs review. So I'm not suggesting you have to do all of these things on the screen. A smart recruitment business probably would over the next 30 days, 90 days, but at least do some of it straight away. And again, we've got tools and guides and all this stuff. And I'm really happy to work with any of you as a member if you want me to come and do a bit of an assessment of your business and go, actually, just give me 30 days and let's see if I can make you 25-30% more profitable as a run rate in the next 30 days based on where you today. I can pretty much guarantee I can, based on what we're seeing from the outside looking into your business. So that's the whole point, obviously, of TRN. So again, just to remind you, this all links back into the accelerator framework stuff that we're talking about. It obviously links back into some of the BD stuff that we're doing with the velocity stuff, which is going to go live in February with all the training on that around BD, and obviously the new Pinnacle program, which I'm super excited about. I'm having sleepless nights about it at the moment because I think it's absolutely genius, and I'm really excited to see recruitment companies again start getting back the margins they deserve, because that's how it always used to be. For some reason, we let that slip over a period of time. As always, I hope you found that useful. If you're a member of TRN, speak to the guys at member support, speak to me directly. We'll get something booked in and we'll work on this with you about driving productivity, performance, top and bottom. If you're not a member of TRN, you want to get involved, come get involved. It's cheap as chips to get involved, to be honest with you. The impact is massive that we can make, whether you're a solo member, a plus member, or a club member. We'd obviously love to work with you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the TRN podcast. Thank you for listening. And make sure you grab the free episode toolkit. All the links are in the description. And click follow in your podcast app so you can get notified of our next episode. If you want to get more out of your business and your people, then please unlock 30 days from our platform, TRN World, for free. And help yourself to all our training content, our guides, our templates, and peer insights. You can get started at trnworld.com/trial. And finally, if you found this episode of the TRN podcast of use, please share it with your network and tag TRN on any socials with your takeaways. Otherwise, message us directly if we can help in any way. We do reply to every question. Otherwise, we'll see you next week on the next TRN podcast.